possibly the most interesting thing that came out of this is that people really enjoyed vibrating each other. You know, in between performances, you know, I was demoing how it worked, and the people were just coming over, and you know, they'd have their friend or their sister or their wife in a chair, and they'd be using the thing, and then they would switch, and they just really enjoyed vibing each other. It was really cool. The whole idea about creating something to facilitate that joy and vibrating each other is how I want to keep going on this. Maybe making it work over a webcam so that you can be waving a hand and controlling it in that way to people anywhere in the world. Maybe outfitting a bodysuit or gloves, or even a massage table that has vibrators and acupressure points. Exploring other kinds of tactile sensations. You know, this is one, but also electrostim, using audio speakers, hot and cold thermal sensations, and possibly the most exciting vibe tracks. So you can record vibrational experiences for your friends, send them to them, and they can play them back, maybe to music or you know, whatever it is. So this whole idea of having exchangeable vibe tracks as something that you can record and play back. So that's my presentation. Thank you very much. If you feel like checking it out at the website, davidresnick.me, and I will give some demonstrations and also answer any questions that you guys have.
Whoever turned off the light, if you can gently bring it back up. So can we have some people come up? So do we have a volunteer from the audience? Come up.
You're gonna dance?
And well, I'm going to do all the great. I don't have my leotard on today. Next time, okay? So the idea is, you know, the music is kind of divided up by sections. This intro here is kind of the, you know, being in a spaceship that's about to take off. It hasn't quite gone yet. And, you know, then our blast off occurs and we start, you know, traveling up, and now we ramp up the vibrations. We're getting more physical as well. So at this point, you'll notice that the vibration is just really moving around in your space, walking, moving, spinning, etc. And you can be pretty staccato with it. Maybe someone else can keep going, right? Someone else want to try? Come on up. Take a seat.
Yeah.
Can you feel the vibrations? One more, do we have one more volunteer who wants to come up? One more volunteer for the audience?
Okay, good. of it. Thanks very much.
Any more questions for David?
I've been interested in the flow state recently because I just took up bike riding, and after taking it up, I noticed that I seem to really be kind of in the flow, like things seem to be coming to me faster, my mind seemed to be working. And I'd also just seen this talk, it was like a TED talk by, I think her name's Patsy Rodenberg, she's an actor and an actor's coach, and she talks about being in the second circle, which is, again, kind of a very present in the now kind of state.
Right.
And what I realized was riding a bike and having to constantly be looking out for danger, and which is a lot of what she talks about too, how people who are in the bush, they are always in the second state because they're like, oh, a lion, whatever. So having things come at you that you have to look out for danger or sensory things that are coming at you for that you have to react to, really, I think, puts you in that. So maybe if you did some kind of modification where someone feels something or experiences something, but they also have to react back to it, because then their mind's constantly like, oh, when this happens, I do this.
Right.
When this happens, I do
the
that.
next step is definitely making it two-way interactive.
Yeah.
But what you mentioned is interesting, because you do have to ride a very fine line between performing and reacting. The Fluxus guys and girls talk about that a lot, actually. So, yeah, good point.
I think there's a question.
Yeah. Oh, Mark. Hi.
Is the vibration related to the acceleration or the position?
It's position. The position being calculated on the fly, but it's and I tried out, all different planes of motion using raw acceleration data and all kinds of things, and it really worked better in terms of smoothness doing position.
You have the green back there?
Yes.
Would it be possible, make it like a video screen?
Yes, and in fact, I do have plans to do surround visuals as well. Yeah, and to have the movements controlling things on screen as well.
I don't know if you've thought about that too much, but how do you? It seems like you have to juxtapose and be very careful about watching the person who's vibrating you and watching the visuals, sort of thing. Or would it just be that it's controlling the videos so that you're only focusing on the videos? Or?
Well, and it would be so that you could kind of focus and move around. I mean, there's plenty of shows that have live visuals happening and then dancing or other things happening on the stage. So it's possible to kind of move focus. But I guess the main point of the visuals would be to really immerse the person in an environment so that they would lose the sense of being in some gallery or performance space and instead feel that they're really in a transported place.
The music was pre-composed for specifically?
I composed this for this project. Yeah, I gave it, different speeds of sections. They have, you could hear, in the B section has these upbeat string plucks of bum, 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 bum. And after that, it goes into more quarter note legato stuff. So I wanted to kind of change it up to give different feels in the different sections. Yes, maybe at some point I'll try it. But also, actually, my initial experimentations were on translating the frequency directly into a more intense physical vibration. That's really hard. It's because I'm not a mathematician, and it's a lot of math in how to do. I mean, sure, there's all kinds of plugins and packages already out there that do that, but to get it at the level of control I wanted, have an audio material that really spans the whole frequency spectrum. It was a little chaotic, and again, it's something that maybe in time I'll get back to.
Can you say a couple more words about your last idea about sort of packaging it so you can send the experience to someone? How would you do that?
Well, actually, I built already a prototype that I'm calling VibeSpeak, and at the moment it's running in Max. But obviously, I'd have to figure out some other kind of solution. So it records the motion data. It's storing it in, I forget which, it's either a table or a buffer, something in Max, and you can pretty easily play it back. I don't know if you know Max much, but it's very easy to store data and then dump that data at any point in the future.
So then you would, if you were going to share this with someone, you'd have some sort of standard where there was a standardized relationship between Max and your files?
Well, I would probably not, I don't know, I haven't worked it out yet. It's just kind of the idea at the moment, but I'd have to have some way of easily making it so that the person doesn't need to be a programmer. They don't have to have Max. All that they need is some kind of an input device, preferably a webcam, because everyone has one, and a computer. So I'm pretty sure I can do it. I just haven't figured out. Yeah. If you have any ideas, I'm very open.
So it sounds like you would probably just want to make a format and then have something that records that format. You don't have to know the AIF format to record an audio file.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But you can send that file to someone who's that, and they don't have to know how to read the file format.
I work in the toy industry, and they have a lot of tools. They're very common for taking audio files and embedding PWM data into it. So when you play the audio file, you can't hear it. But when you plop that audio file into an audio playback micro, it diddles I/O lines while it's playing the music.
Yeah.
You could potentially use that same idea. You could make audio files that play normally, but in your standard hardware, it also does the vibration.
Yeah, the toy industry perspective is very interesting, and actually, a long time ago, I had other ideas that were in line with that. But thank you for bringing that back into my consciousness, because I forgot that entirely.
See if you can find a free copy floating around of a tool called PowerIO.
PowerIO.
That's what they all use to embed, to hide codes into.
Very cool.
Okay, great. Let's give it up for Dave Resnick.